make sure that we're fasting correctly with the right intentions, with the right motives. In this case, we are wanting world peace. We want paradise on earth as it is in heaven. We want God to bring us back to His original intent. We want to live in peace. Look at this view. Just look at it. You see that? I'm crazy to believe that we can live in peace. Um, Getting back to worshiping, bowing down, a lot of it has to do with posture. Um, a lot of us think of worship as music. You can definitely use, I mean, there is worship music that you can worship to, but it is a lifestyle, and a lot of it has to do with just living humbly, not necessarily having to do with what you have, but just who you are, just being, right? And the last thing, interceding. I know it's so easy to get caught up in what you have going on that you can't even think of the next person, let alone pray for the next person. However, um, it's what it's going to take to have peace, is to take your eyes off yourself. And I know it's easier said than done. One of the prayers I prayed, I think it was about 5 years ago, was for God to soften my heart, because there was a time where, I mean, I've just thought about myself. Growing up, a lot of it had to do with me participating in an individual sport. I used to run track, and so it was always about me, and it wasn't like I was purposefully being selfish. It was just my way of life. But when I started to pray for God to soften my heart, my life changed, and I became more empathetic, and it's easier now to to um, to want to do more for others. So that's a prayer point too, and then also praying for enemies. I know it's easier said than done. According to Matthew 5:45. Actually, let me read that specifically. It says, but I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you. I know it's easier said than done, but if we pray for God to soften their heart, if we pray and realize and understand that we are not battling against people, we're not battling against flesh and blood. It is literally spiritual. We are battling against principalities in high places, which reminds me, I'm going to go ahead and say we're going to put on the full armor of God with the prayer.